First memories of rugby league, I'd say going to Odsal as a kid. I had a season ticket for all home games. Me and my brother used to go down. We actually used to cut up like little bits of newspaper and throw it in air as the team ran out. I remember just like the buzz of the stadium, and just loved being around the game as a kid. All the songs playing and the hype around the game day, I just loved it. Shantae Happy, I'm a fan of him. Leslie Vanacolo, I'd say they were my heroes at Bradford, definitely. So I played when I were young, at the age of 12. I played for just a local team. One of the lads knocked on my door and said, "Charlotte, do you fancy playing for Wyke? We're short of a player." So off I trotted at Wyke. Played my first game and loved it ever since. Yeah, playing with the boys at that age, at 12, I think there's not much difference in terms of physicality and the size. I was just as big and just as fast. I felt all right playing. If anything, it was just a funny one sometimes, because I always wore a scrum cap. That was the one condition my mum said, you've got to wear a scrum cap if you're playing. And sometimes I'd take it off and the fans and the parents would say, "Oh, it's a girl." So they'd be a little bit shocked sometimes, yeah. And then I stopped at that point. I had to stop playing with the guys. So then I went to football. I played football right up until the age of 18 and then got back into rugby league at open age. It were really, really special when I joined and played for Bradford. I'd played for Bradford previously, but it were Bradford Clayton Thunderbirds, and then Bradford Bulls took on that team. So it were a dream come true, really, because as a kid growing up and supporting Bradford, there were no women's team or there were no pathway really for me, and I didn't really know could I ever play for Bradford Bulls. And I always dreamed of like my name being read out over at Tannoy when, like I say, when I had the early days at Odsal. So when that happened, it were really, really special. So 2017, we won the treble, we won league leaders, grand final and the Challenge Cup. And it was just, a really, really amazing season. Such great memories from that season, and I remember like all pulling together and working really hard. It was World Cup year as well, so the international girls that were playing among Bradford with, we all made sure we did extras and stuff like that alongside it. So yeah, it were a great year. The decision to join Leeds and step over to the dark side, so to say, weren't an easy one. I'd played at Bradford and won, as we've discussed with the treble. And Lois Forsell, good friend and good teammate, she mentioned, she was starting up the Leeds Rhino team, they were trialling. And it were always in the back of my mind what were next for me after the World Cup. I always like setting goals and working towards what is next. So starting up a new team with new players that had not played rugby league, players that were from cricket like Courtney Hill and Fran, my friend who played football. It just seemed something that I could get my teeth into really and start blossoming more into a leader and less as an individual. Now I'm getting a little bit older. The last 2 seasons at Leeds have been really, really special in terms of camaraderie and just being a really close-knit set of girls. Really, good memories, and I'm sure they'll be taken over to Aussie land. I'd always wanted to play rugby abroad, and Australia seems to be the most obvious, with it being, their main sport really, other than Aussie rules, but I don't think I'd be good at that. So I got in touch with some teams when I got back to the UK, and they showed me some interest. It didn't seem the right time for me in terms of my lifestyle, so I stayed in contact with them, and then at the end of last season got back in contact with them, and they seemed to be happy to look at footage of me playing. I sent over like a sporting CV, and I got a few offers from different clubs. I think I was a bit just shell-shocked really. I like to think I'm quite a humble person, and I was just a bit like, well, I don't know, have you watched the clips properly? Are you sure you're looking at me, or do you think it's someone else? But yeah, over the moon, and it was just a case of, wow, this is actually going to happen now. And I go tomorrow, and I think even now I'm a bit like, wow, I'll be in Australia and I'll still be shocked, so yeah. When I first land in Australia, I think first things first, I'll be getting a coffee, sitting down and just soaking it all in. It'll be 4 AM there, so I'll be a bit jet lagged. The coach will be coming to meet me from then, and he said we can go back to his house, have a chat, and get to know his family. And then I imagine I'll be going to my digs, relaxing for a bit, and then that evening I've actually got training with the girls, so I think it's going to be a bit of a tough one because of the jet lag, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to just getting out there, meeting the girls, and having a bit of sunshine, if I'm honest. I know a girl, I should remember her name, but I'm terrible. I played against her in the test series against PNG, and she actually messaged me and said, oh, you're coming to West Panthers, welcome to the family kind of thing, which were really nice. Other than that, I don't know anyone on the team. I know people that I'm playing against as the internationals, so I will have played against them. Yeah, I'd like to thank Leeds Rhinos definitely for how they've been and how they've treated me over the last few seasons, and definitely with these negotiations before signing. I sat down with Adam Cuthbertson actually in Australia whilst on tour. We had a coffee and he just said to me, look Shah, it's a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He obviously did it coming from the other end, as in us to the UK, so he just said, you'll be surprised, things don't change as much as you think they will. And home's always here if you want to come back, just do it, just go for it. He said it'll be, a sad loss for Leeds, but he'd respect me for going. Leon Crick again has been fantastic, allowing me to train with the girls in pre-season over Christmas to keep me ticking over, which has been really nice. I owe the club a lot, and hopefully I'll be back. So to be the first Women's Super League player to go to Australia to play, it's a really nice title to have. If anything, you're only the first that once, and hopefully there's many to follow after me. And I hope if I've inspired someone else to pick up the phone and try reach out and see if there's any contacts they could get in touch with, that would be really nice. There's definitely the talent there for girls to go over for Women's Super League. I think we've got a lot of good individual players, and I think we, as a set of girls, just need to keep growing and playing more rugby together, especially international, and I think that's then when we'll kick on and hopefully be able to contend with them Aussies and the All Blacks. The international game over the last few years has definitely grown. It's been great to be part of that and see it go from when I first had my debut in 2015 right up until now. Every time you play international, it's always as special as the last time, if not more. Never ever take it for granted pulling on that jersey. In terms of a highlight at international, it'd be probably quite hard to pick one, but if I had to, it'd be 2017 World Cup against PNG, opening game. I scored 2 tries in that game, and well, the first 10 minutes I made a bit of a boo-boo. Went to catch a high ball, stumbled, knocked it on, and the other team scored. So to then come back and score 2 tries on the back of that, I was quite happy with. Because I think sometimes when you make mistakes, it's dead hard to get back into it. So yeah, I think that's the highlight of international career. I think Sydney 2017 really set the platform. With the World Cup, it was just fantastic in terms of the sponsors and how we were treated equally with the men. And I think 2021, I'm hoping, is just going to top that and be bigger and better. If I had to sum up in 3 words how I feel before the move, I'd say excited, apprehensive, eager.